Okay, Marge, you're on.
Well, my idea is to leave the boat exactly where it is. Leave it tied up to the dock and open it as a showboat.
Showboat? You mean like as in Old Man River?
Oh, no, darling. Not like an old man river. I was thinking something like an elegant cabaret, you know? Bring back the big band era. You know, where music that people can dance to and with each other.
It was a nice idea, Tiffany, but, you know, a cabaret, it would cost a fortune just to change the boat.
No, love, look, most of the changes are the interior, right? Like ripping out walls and building tiers for tables. We could do that ourselves.
We? As in us?
Well, look, I may not know much about slopping the geese and milking the pigs, but, you know, I can handle a paintbrush.
Oh, yes, darling. And once we're open, I can be a great big help. You know, I could probably entertain there myself once or twice just to make sure that we have an overflow crowd, you know?
Look, you know, I still say even if you did work on it together, I think that you'd probably use up all our money before we could even open it.
Not necessarily, baby. If we lived on the boat, we could, you know, we could save a lot of money because we'd probably work there about 16 hours a day, maybe more.
Right.
What, you mean we'd live there while you were tearing it apart?
Sure. What an adventure, right? And especially, that way we wouldn't evict our friend here from his penthouse.
I'm sure that he wouldn't have offered us his penthouse if he considered it an eviction.
Well, I know that, but I would consider it an eviction, so that's out. You understand? Sorry. But
Understood. Fine.
Thanks. A cabaret, a floating cabaret. I kind of like that idea, you know? Since I killed Disco in Fort Charles, you know, no, I did. You know I did. It's over, and I did it. And since I killed it, there's not been a hot spot in the city.
Oh, you know, this would be much more elegant than a disco, you know. I was thinking more like understated elegance for the main room. You know, like maybe peach walls with fabric, you know, and matching linen and fresh roses on the floor every day.
Carpet and, yeah.
I like that, you know? I like that kind of understated, what you call it, elegance.
Yeah.
What's wrong? It bit me.
Who did? What are you talking about?
Beady-eyed thing covered in feathers. It bit me.
Robert, you mean a chicken bit you?
A chicken bit me.
Darling, that's all.
This isn't funny. I might never play the kazoo again.
Mash, give him a break. Don't make him sick.
Take it home with you.
Oh, sweetie.
This has been some day already.
Do you know that we didn't stop for lunch? Claudia, did you have lunch?
You know, I forgot about it. Oh, my goodness. It's not too late, though. Can I bring you two something? Sandwich, anything?
Yeah, roast beef on rye bread with mustard and a pickle.
Whoa.
And you? Earth to Rick. Earth to Rick.
What?
Hello. Two of those.
Okay. Coming right up.
I don't even have to ask, do I?
Sorry, what?
Know what you're thinking. You're thinking about what Jules said about the kids not having any place to play.
How did you know I was thinking about that?
Because I know you. And she was absolutely right. I wonder how many other kids are out there waiting for a car to come blindly, quickly around a corner.
You know what they need is a gymnasium or a community center where they can be safe as well as having fun.
Yeah, right. They need that. But there isn't one.
Lesley, there wasn't a Brooklyn Bridge till somebody decided to build it. I wonder if I could do it here.
In the clinic?
Yeah, this is a dumb idea. I mean, all the equipment, and there just isn't room.
Yeah, but you're on the right track. You're on the right track. We need that here. We need that.
Yes, there is a need for it, but what we really need is another building.
Oh, well, if you had a building, I'll bet that you could, you'd have it taped. You could get all of the merchants in town to donate sports equipment.
Well, I'd twist their arm to get that, but I gotta have the building first. A big, very big, empty building down here at the waterfront. Now, where do I find it?
Alan. Well, you'll never guess who I had lunch with today.
I couldn't care less who you had lunch with.
Susan Moore.
What did you say?
I said I had luncheon with the pretender to my throne. Darling Susan. Lord, she's dull. I don't know how you stand it.
Monica, I warned you. I want you to leave Susan alone. Stay away.
And I want you to take your hand off me. That's better.
How dare you go and see Susan?
Well, I dared because she called me up and invited me to lunch.
I don't believe you.
Well, then tonight when you get home to your sweet little geranium-covered cottage, why don't you ask her?
What did she want?
Ask her that, too.
I'm asking you.
All right, I'll tell you. She wanted to know why you're not suing me for divorce, Alan. Quite frankly, I think she has a point. What is holding you back?
I don't want to discuss it.
I didn't want to discuss it either. But you see, dear, sweet, simple-minded Susan did. Of course, I couldn't tell her exactly why I thought you were dragging your feet. I mean, that would have been rude.
Well, I'll play your silly game, Monica. Why do you think I'm dragging my feet?
Well, could it possibly be the fact that you're finding little Miss Muffet a bloody bore, Alan? Has domestic bliss begun to pall on your relationship? Is that why you won't divorce me? Oh, thank you.
For what?
For lunch. Susan picked up the check.
Do you think it's at all possible that chickens could be rabid?
Robert, they're always rabid. Worse than that, they're carriers.
Of what?
Well, mostly the dreaded Samoyedian underarm fever. If I were you, I would check immediately into a clinic and have my pits checked.
Your humor always did escape me. But listen, it is not funny being attacked by a crazy chook. But in any case, listen, I didn't even seem to agree with you.
Man, it has been fine. Rick called, too.
Your newly acquired father-in-law. Well, what did he want?
Mainly to tell us that Scott will not contest the Mexican divorce.
Yeah, well, it looks as if Scotty could be cleaning up his act. He looked pretty beaten when I saw him.
Yeah. I got an idea that he's probably, if he sticks in town, will go into his father's law office and practice law again. But I don't trust him.
Look, he had his moment at the wedding, and now he's through. Finished.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Look, about the thing that Tiffany brought up, you know, with the yacht, and that's a great idea, a floating cabaret.
I agree.
There's a lot of details there, though. You know, liquor licenses are tough to get, you know, especially if your record, as mine is not exactly clean as a whistle.
Look, stop worrying, will you? You're still the golden-haired boy in town, now probably more than ever.
What do you mean, now more than ever?
Well, look, because... Oh, of course. You wouldn't know about that. Stuck up here with the deer and the antelope play. Okay. After you went to see Helena Cassadine, she went ahead with her reception. And get this, gave the hospital $10 million for research.
10 million?
10 big ones. Now, I don't know what you said to her, pal, but it certainly worked.
Oh, I didn't say much to her at all.
For $10 million? Now, look, I know you didn't talk about the weather. Come on, tell Robert. What'd you talk about?
Robert, I don't know. We didn't talk about much. Talked a little bit about her deceased husband. She said that I reminded her of him. That spooked me a little bit, but you know what really spooked me is the way she kept looking at me. She kept staring at me with those eyes. And before I left, she put her hands on my shoulders. I don't think I'll ever forget the feel of her hands on my shoulders. Even now, I can feel them burning. Very strange.
Yeah, well, I could understand what you mean. Cassadine's always had a sort of an aura about them. Compared to the Quartermains, they make them look like Ozzie and Harriet.
And then there's a lunch date at the Metropolitan Club at noon tomorrow.
Oh, it's no trouble, Mrs. Quartermain. I always enjoy talking to you. Well, thank you. You have a nice day, too. Bye-bye.
Obviously, that was my wife.
I didn't hear you come in, Mr. Quartermain.
Again, obviously. Well, I'm waiting for an explanation, Nancy.
An explanation, sir?
Mm-hmm. In full. What were you doing talking to my wife?
Well, I thought you knew.
Well, confound it, girl. If I knew, I wouldn't be standing here asking you.
Well, Mrs. Quartermain calls me often, sometimes twice a day.
Oh, does she really? What for? To get the weather report? Or is it for what you women call girl talk? I'm waiting for an answer, Nancy.
She just wants to know what's going on at the ELQ office, sir.
Mm-hmm. You oblige her in full, I'm sure.
Well, yes, I tell her about your daily activity.
All of it?
Just ELQ business. After all, I mean, she is...
Well, go ahead, Nancy. You have no idea how you're holding my attention.
Well, I was just going to say, Mrs. Quartermain is the principal stockholder now, and that makes her the owner. I just assumed she had a right to know about her own company.
Well, that was a very fatal assumption. But for your information, Nancy, while Mrs. Quartermain may be the majority stockholder, I am still the boss. Mine is still the final word. And since you seem to doubt that, I will give you a very practical demonstration of what I mean.
Yes, sir?
You may write yourself out a check for 2 weeks' salary, clear out the desk, and leave. Now, in case I'm not getting through to you, you are discharged as of now.
Mr. Quartermain!
Oh, yes, and for your final act at that desk, you may call the Executive Employment Office and tell them that ELQ is now looking for a new secretary.
I'm sure you'll want to list the requirements for the job.
Oh, yes, indeed I do. Tell them I prefer somebody who is deaf, dumb, and blind.
Aunt Alice, it was so nice of you to babysit. Thank you. I just hope I didn't ruin your plans for the day.
Oh, nonsense. You know, Harlan, holding that darling little child just gave me a lot to think about.
Yeah?
Yeah, what I said to you earlier was very true. You hold a little baby like that in your arms and you think this is perfect. I mean, this happiness is going to be forever. And then when the child grows up, well, anything can happen, just anything at all. Oh, but listen, I shouldn't be sharing those sorry thoughts of mine with you. I'll see you soon.
Okay, I hope so. Thanks again so much.
You're welcome, darling.
Bye-bye. Alan! I didn't expect you home for hours, and Alice just left.
Yes, I'm aware that I have eyes.
What's the matter? You seem upset.
Upset? That's hardly the word for it, Susan. I'm furious. Come over here and sit down. I want an explanation.
An explanation for what?
Oh, please, don't play innocent games with me. Now, that'll be the last straw. Sit down. Why did you go and have lunch with Monica?
She told you.
Please, just answer my question. What in God's name possessed you to invite that woman to lunch?
Well, all right. Since it upset you so much, I'll tell you why. I was trying to help.
Help? Help what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'm trying to tell you if you give me a chance. I thought that I could convince Monica to start divorce proceedings against you.
You are playing straight into her hands. You know that, don't you?
No, I don't know that, Alan. Obviously, you're not going to file for divorce, so I thought just maybe she would.
Did it ever occur to you that I may have very good reasons for not starting divorce proceedings?
Did you admit you're not going to do it?
I'm not admitting anything. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it in my own time. And what I want from you is I want you to stop interrogating me, and I want you to stop trying to anticipate what my motives are, all right?
Alan, I'm not doing any of those things. Do you know how I feel?
Of course I know how you feel.
Well, I don't know how you feel, because you never tell me, Alan. And if you want to know the truth, you don't know how I feel. You couldn't.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Of course I know how you feel, and you know how I feel. Well, I mean, what am I doing here? I moved out of my own home to come and live here.
You hate it here, don't you? Go on, admit it. You hate living here.
Oh, God, this is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. I try so hard to please you. I do everything I can think of to make it nice for you here. I cook all the foods I think you like. You come home from work, I make your drink just the way you want it. For what? You don't even notice, Alan.
Of course I notice, but you have got to understand one thing, okay? I love you, and God knows I am going to marry you one day. Oh, will you stop crying? I'm trying to talk to you. You also have to understand that I am going to deal with Monica in my way, and you have got to agree to that.
Alan, I don't even know what you want me to agree to.
I want you to agree to forget about Monica. I don't want you to see her. I don't want you to talk to her. I don't even want you to think about her.
How can I not think about her? She's your wife.
For the time being, I'm going to divorce her, but I'm going to do it my own time. You have got to realize that I am dealing with Monica. The woman is brilliant. She is clever, and she is devious. And she knows how to play the game.
Oh, Alan,
I'm going to play the game better than she does. I'm going to win the game. I'm going to anticipate every single move she makes. I will fathom out exactly what's in her mind. And in the end, I will totally outwit her.
Strange.
I don't understand what is so strange. I mean, I have a very healthy opponent, a very good adversary. And the most important thing when the stakes are as high as they are right now is to know who the enemy is.
I'll tell you what's strange, Alan, is that when you talk about your situation, both you and Monica sound exactly alike. And that frightens me. It really does.
I love you, Susan. I really do.
And that's all you need to know.
I mean, don't chickens ever take a 10? Look at these eggs.
Oh, darling, if hens ever stop laying, let me tell you, they're disturbed about something. You won't want that.
Yeah, well, obviously that lot out in the garage out there haven't got a care in the world.
Robert, I think you're putting a medium in with the large.
Mrs. Spencer, look, for your information, to me, an egg is an egg, and scrambled, they all look the same.
Robert, shut up and sort off.
All right. I hang on your every word, Spence.
You know, I've been thinking.
Oh, hey, hold it. Now, duck, everybody. This is it. Look out.
No,
Got that look?
No, you're gonna like this. It has to do with what Tiff was saying in the barn.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, too.
What do you think?
Well, I was thinking about Robert's beautiful penthouse, and it does have 2 bedrooms, doesn't it?
Well,
Yes, it did last time I looked.
and when
Why?
we left this morning.
Right, well, look, then it's simple. If we move in there, we can just have 1 bedroom. He can stay in the other one, and he won't have to move out.
Laura, why would we, as newlyweds, want to live with other people when we can live alone on a yacht?
Because it would be
Besides,
fun.
if we go ahead with Tiffany's idea, there's a lot of work to be done there. If we live there, we can make it done faster.
Does that mean that you're going to turn it into a cabaret?
Well, I don't know, honey, but I kind of like that idea a lot. You know, when I ran the disco, it was a class operation, because I'm a classy guy.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Oh,
yes.
laugh it up, fool. So, at any rate, I was just thinking we could really probably turn some very heavy profits.
Profit. Now we get down to the nitty-gritty. Listen, can you cope with a compliment?
Oh, I thrive on your compliments, Robert.
Well, I think that you have the necessary savory fare to carry it off.
Savory fare?
Yeah.
What is that?
Honey, did you know you were married to a guy who's had it up to here with
Yeah.
savory fare?
Up to there.
Mm-hmm.
And flamboyance. Let's not forget
Too.
flamboyance.
I'm overwhelmed.
Well, I think Robert's being very serious, and I happen to agree with him now, Luke. I mean, I think you do a wonderful job running the Titan. Of course, with our help, you...
Well, sure, I couldn't do it alone. Well, maybe I couldn't. But I've been thinking that the more I think about it, the better it sounds. At least we would be our own bosses. We would not be a symbol for somebody else making a lot of money.
You got it, mate. The magic word is independence. Rise or fall, sink or swim. We call the shots.
Yeah. Laura, you're not saying much, babe.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's not such a bad idea to be a symbol. At least we would be sure of a weekly paycheck.
Oh, but Laura, honey, I mean, a nightclub on the Titan would actually coin money for us.
We can't be sure of that, Tiffany, and we could use up all of our money fixing the place up before we could even open.
No, sweetheart. No, look. The basic outgoings will be essentially in raw materials. I mean, you know, in terms of labor, the boy and I come pretty cheap.
Some of us come very cheap.
And obviously, I would donate my services. I mean, considering my usual fees for all of my appearances, I would just have a mint right there. Come on.
That'll, yeah.
It's true.
Listen, do you do any animal acts as well? You
I
know?
do not work with animals or children. Let me
Juggle
tell you, they are
cartridge.
absolutely scene stealers, and I will not put up with them.
Well, there you go. I think the money will save in baby food and whatever you feed animals.
That's right, darling.
Laura, you seem to be somewhat uncertain.
Well, yeah, I think we probably just need to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we do. Oh, we don't want you to think we would, keep secrets from you.
Oh, no, it's just that I think that Luke and I should have the chance to talk about it alone later on.
The telephone.
That would be it. Whitaker Honeymoon Hotel, groom speaking. Hey, Mrs. Whitaker! Where are you? Still in Chicago. Oh, that's great. No, everything's going real well. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, no, you know what? Something happened today, which is terrific. It sounds like we may have something great to go home to. Yeah. No, we'll tell you all about it when we see you. What? All right. I'll tell Buford. Oh, Mrs. Whitaker, before you hang up, Laura and I want to thank you again for everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Right. Tomorrow. Okay. Our best of wit. Okay. Bye. Did you hear?
One side.
Well, they're coming back. They want to spend Thanksgiving here. So, looks like the honeymoon's over.
But at least there's one good thing about it. Tomorrow, we're going to be home for Thanksgiving dinner.